Battery 100%. Connected to LA.
Kevin J. Johnston, the #1 name in the land of the North, he's risen to fame. 40 years deep in the law he's read. Now the CRA shakes in fear and dread. Stop paying tax forever, my friend. With Kevin J. Johnston, the fight doesn't end. Corporate debt, he'll make it all good. He's the man the CRA misunderstood. Payroll problems, they vanish like mist when Kevin shows up with his legal fist. No more matching, no more lies, just clean-cut books and clear blue skies. Stop paying tax forever, my friend. With Kevin J. Johnston, the rules start to bend. The CRA can scream and shout, but Kevin knows how to throw them out. They claim they've got the final say, but Kevin proves there's a better way. He fights for truth, he fights for you, and teaches what the courts won't do. Forever today. Let Kevin J. Johnston show you the way. The expert, the rebel, the man with a plan. He's saving this nation, one client per hand. He's got 40 years of tax law knowing and corporate skills that keep cash flowing. And GST payroll all in line. He'll save your neck and every dime. He studied law, both civil crime, and makes tax code sound so sublime. With stand-up jokes and punchlines tight, he makes your seminar a night of light. Kevin J, Kevin J, CRA just runs away. He's the tax manslayer with a legal plan, the best-looking genius in the land. Kevin J, Kevin J, taking all your tax away. If the government's scared, then it's safe to say he's the hero of the North, Kevin J. 2 million women cast their vote, said Kevin's hot, that's all she wrote. The suits at CRA can't compete, he's beaten them clean without deceit. 100 mil he's saved so far, he's raising truth like a legal star. And if you think you owe the state, he'll show you how to terminate. Kevin J, Kevin J, CRA just runs away. He's the tax manslayer with a legal plan, the best-looking genius in the land. Kevin J, Kevin J, taking all your tax away. If the government's scared, then it's safe to say
Kevin J. Johnston here. Welcome to the Tax and Money Show that runs every single Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time right here on freedomreport.ca. Tonight's show is Killing Capital Gains. That's right. Buy, sell, keep all the profits. That's right. Buy your stuff, sell your stuff, make profit, keep it all. Keep the CRA far away from each and every one of you and your bank accounts and your family's financial futures. All right, to remind everyone, I am buying Instagram channels. I am buying TikTok channels. If you've got more than 500 naturally found individuals following you on those platforms, get a hold of me now. I'm going to buy them, take those off your hands, and utilize them to further spread the word. That is right, TikTok and Instagram channels, we're buying them up. And tomorrow night, everyone, we've got 5 spots left in the Kevin J. Johnston group consultation. That is every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So tomorrow, Wednesday, March 25th at 8 p.m., join 29 other people aside from yourselves, sit in, listen to my tax lecture, and then ask as many questions as you wish during that time. Everyone gets one round through. If we get through them fast, we get a second round. But if we get to the 2.5-hour mark, that's kind of enough for you and everybody else. But you're going to get to see this lovely face for at least 2 to 2.5 hours, and you get to ask questions directly. So head over to kevinjjohnston.com right now and pick up one of those spots. It's a mere $250 for 2.5 hours of just good times and lots of information. So what are we talking about tonight, guys? It's capital gains. Capital gains. I cannot believe this is even a thing, all right? You go out, you have a job, and you pay tax on the job. Then in most Western countries, you go shopping and you pay tax on everything that you purchase. Then you put gas in the car, you pay tax on that. In Canada now, if you go to a hotel, you're paying a hotel tax. If you're buying liquor, there's liquor tax, there's cigarette tax, cigar tax, entertainment tax. Wow. And then there's all the hidden taxes and tariffs that you never see. Canadians are paying up to 73% tax right now. And in Europe, it's about 60%. And it's been that way for a very long time. Then after all that tax, you have a little bit left over for yourself. You go and buy a house and you want a better future for your children. So you mortgage the first house and you buy a second house and rent it out for a bit of profit to be able to retire. And then what happens? The government says, oh, you made money on that property. So after all the 73% tax, thank you for that, by the way, let's tax the sale of this property. And so many of you say, oh, okay, shucks, I gotta pay another tax. Oh, and you do it. And that's the bizarre part of it. And if all of you just did not fill out line 12,700 on the tax return, you wouldn't have any problems. In fact, all of you have tax problems because of you. You did a tax return. All right. Someone told you that you should. Someone said you have to. And you never read the Income Tax Act to find out if you didn't have to. So you've been snitching on yourself to this government agency called the Canada Revenue Agency, or in Australia, the ATO, and you're paying tax based on the truth that you tell. How do you feel now about having been honest with the government? Pretty stupid, huh? When you lie to the government, you advance. When you tell the truth, you lose. So, everyone, I formed the Tax and Money Show to remind all of you that you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you to steal your money. So shut the F up, would you? Stop talking to government employees. Don't talk to the cops. Don't talk to crown attorneys. Don't talk to the CRA. Stop snitching on yourself and you're going to be just fine, everybody. But the capital gain here, before you can form a defense against it, everybody, you need to understand it. And Steve, you say an HST officer wants to inspect your home office. Get a hold of me on my website and I'll send off the appropriate letter banning him from your property and banning him from ever talking to you again. Yeah, that's called trespassing. If he shows up, it's trespassing. All right. If he says he has to come in your house and check it out, that's extortion, fraud. What else do we have there? Oh, yeah. Uttering threats, intimidation. Call 911. Tell them you got some guy trying to break in your house. You think he's armed. Cops will be there in a second. As soon as Canadian cops hear the word gun, they show up. They just show up. It's amazing. So you tell them that, and the cops will be there. And I shouldn't say that word because I think that's the word that got the show clicked off last week. So you understand that I'm telling you what your rights are. So getting into taxes now. And if TikTok does take me down again, everyone, you want to watch this show, just type in freedomreport.ca. You'll go straight to my Rumble channel, and you'll be able to at that point watch the show live. I absolutely hate it when TikTok and Instagram cut me off in the middle of a show. And typically it's just because I say one word that has nothing to actually do with the word I'm saying. Right. Cher says you have to say pew pew. Yeah. So on all social media, you have to say this person was unalived. Stupid. Why are we censoring language? Why are we making everything soft? You can't say, the G word. You have to say pew pew. It is retarded. We're turning everybody into babies with all this nonsensical baby talk. But if I do get taken down tonight during my live on TikTok, head right over to freedomreport.ca and watch me on Rumble. All right. Getting into capital gains. Let's start with the first one here. And this news comes from the Netherlands, where in February of 2026, the Dutch Parliament had a major tax reform vote called Box Number 3. It includes taxing unrealized capital gains, paper profit on stocks, crypto, houses, condos, whatever. All right. So the proposed rate is going to be about 36%, annually on your gains, even if the asset is not sold. So what am I talking about with this? In Canada, in most countries in the Western world, you buy a house for $100,000. You sell the house 20 years later for $1,100,000. That's a $1 million profit. That is a capital gain. All right. So they tax you on the money you made on your property. But now they're going against what it used to be, that you only paid the capital gain when you sold the property. Now they want to assess what the capital gain is every single year and tax you 36% on that annual capital gain. It's going to bankrupt everybody in the Netherlands. And the individuals that cooked this up, neither one of them are Danish. They're just not from Denmark. They are not, from Holland. They're not from the Netherlands at all, these people. One of them is a Turkish maniac, and the other one, I think, is from Cyprus or something, but they're not locals. They're not natives to the country, and they are dictating the terms to the natives of the country. They're telling everyone in the Netherlands, we're going to steal your money now. And unfortunately, they're just kind of going along with it. And that kind of sucks, don't you think? Well, all of a sudden, now that the Netherlands are doing this, they're talking about bringing it into Canada. So every single year, you can expect a tax bill on your capital gains. That's crazy. Well, so Canada already taxes unrealized gains indirectly through deemed disposition rules. It's not called an unrealized gains tax, but in practice, it works the same way. All right. We're going to cover deemed disposition shortly and how it is the Canadian government's always taken money from you in just about every walk of life. You got to protect yourselves, everybody. Remember, we cover this time and time again. For whatever the reason. Now, ladies, this is not me insulting you, all right? But what I'm saying is when married couples get together and they want to buy a house, when I explain to a married couple that you got to put your house into a numbered corporation to protect it, the guy, the dude, the husband, if you will, is always just like, yeah, let's protect the property. And the wife always says, not always, but like 9 times out of 10, oh, I don't know. It's just that I don't know anyone else that's ever done this. Yeah, we can't do this. It wasn't on the news, so it's not real. Ladies, don't do that. Women, I understand that your brains work differently than men. You go to fear. Don't go to fear. Go to logic. The logic is that you're dealing with the guy here that hates the CRA more than anybody. I don't want to see some young married couple lose their house to a capital gain or to even a lawsuit, if you will. So we've got to get the house out of your name and put them into a corporation. So please think logically, ladies. The reason that the CBC does not talk about what I am talking about is because they are government funded. They get $1.4 billion a year to lie to you. And that's tax dollars that you're paying, by the way. Your tax money goes to this ridiculous network that sucks. immensely just sucks that come out and lie to you every day. So why would CBC come out, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, go on television and tell all of you, hey guys, you can beat taxes? But they're not going to say that. They're going to tell you, they're going to lie and say 9 more people this week went to prison for income tax evasion. They don't. It's a lie, but they're going to lie to you so you keep paying tax so that the CBC keeps getting their 1.4 billion bucks. Of course, what I'm telling you is not common knowledge. This is 41 years of studying tax code. There's no tax law in Canada. It's tax code. So I'm telling you the truth here. When I'm saying protect your assets, guys, I'm saying it from the bottom of my heart. Please don't give the CRA any opportunities to steal from you, because our next slide is in death. It's a grim topic, but we got to talk about it because each and every one of us one day is going to be a corpse. Yes, all of us, no matter who you are. So when someone dies in Canada, the deemed dispossession at death begins. So what the CRA is going to do is, like, they lick their lips. Okay, little Johnny's daddy's gone. So now we're going to pretend that the house that was owned was sold and tax the estate. We're going to pretend the cars, the bank account, and everything else is all liquidated, and we're going to tax all of it to the estate. Wow. So all of a sudden, everyone's out there, you're crying, and the CRA is now hitting you within a few days with all these tax bills, and all of you, I don't want conflict, I don't want problems, and you just pay them. I think I've told you the story about my mother doing this. My father died, it was around 10:50 a.m. It was on the 4th of January, 2018. I know, I was there. I had to call the time on the clock. Yeah, I wasn't going to let my old man die without being by his side when he was in the process of dying. 2 hours after that, my mother runs downstairs to the payphone. For some reason, she had the toll-free number to the CRA. Called them. Oh, my husband's dead. His name is this, and the social insurance number. Why would she have all that information with her in the hospital when her husband of 4 decades is about to die? That's the last thing I'm thinking about. You think I cared what my father's social insurance number was when I watched him take his last breath? My God, no, I was thinking about, I'm going to mourn my father for the next 3 days. That's my thought. But my mother's thought was I don't want to go to jail. I have to do what the government says. And nobody in the government ever told her, hey, when your husband dies, make sure you've got a toll-free number. Call us from a payphone from the hospital and pay us tax. That's not what the CRA says, but that's what she believed in her head. So she did all this and immediately started just writing checks to them. And I had to stop payments on all of the checks. And because she wouldn't trust me, wouldn't believe me, I had to have her declared mentally unfit to even have a bank account. I took all of her credit cards and bank accounts away from her so that she wouldn't write checks to the CRA, because the CRA wouldn't leave her alone. I had to threaten the CRA with everything under the sun, scream and yell at them at the top of my lungs to get them to finally back off. And that's how most people think. So what happens here is someone dies. In the will, it'll say my eldest son is going to be the executor of the will, which you don't want to be. You don't want to be the executor of the will, because now it's like being the director of a corporation. When the CRA just says, oh, we just found out that John Smith died, so we're going to hit the executor with everything that we want to tax. Now, your father, who just died, probably doesn't owe any tax at all, but they say that he owes. So they will chase the executor, but that's only if you tell them that someone died. Why would you do that? It's amazing, folks. Everyone gets onto Facebook and onto social media. Dad died. Don't do that. Don't do that. I told 4 of my relatives that my dad died. That's it. I wasn't on social media looking for sympathy from the outside world. It's no one's business. Now, how many of you, I was a public figure. I was already a public figure when my mother died. Do any of you watching me for all these last 8-9 years now ever see an announcement where I came out and said, my mom died, please feel sorry for me? No, of course you didn't, because I didn't do it. In fact, I don't even think I talked about my mother's death for about 2 years afterwards, because I didn't do any reporting to the CRA for at least 3 years after her death. And then the CRA shot this letter over saying that the estate needs to pay this tax bill. It wasn't that big. It was about 40 grand. But we told them that we never met the executor. I just made crap up. I lied. You know, the executor is this guy named Richard. I don't know him. You'll have to call Richard if you want to get any tax dollars. And of course, they let it go. So here's my point. When you don't tell the CRA the person is dead, and you're not legally obligated to tell anybody that someone has died in your household at all, then you're fine. If you don't take the will and go to the courthouse and book it into the courthouse saying, oh, here's the will, they're not going to know. A will is something that should be not read out by a lawyer. You know how you guys have all that Hollywood nonsense where you see 500 people in a room for some reason, and there's a lawyer reading out, to my cousin John, to my wife this. Like there's some kind of audience listening to the will being read. That's Hollywood. That's nonsense. That's not how it works. For both of my folks, the will was something that I had to go into a filing cabinet to dig for. That's most likely how it's going to be. And if all of you protect yourselves properly, then the will is going to be irrelevant. And I mean absolutely irrelevant, because all your property, if you take my advice from all my previous shows, is going to be in numbered corporations. I will explain that shortly. But I want to get a bit further into the whole death portion of this. So when we're dealing with the CRA, I was asking a couple of the AIs some very rudimentary questions here, which is, give me the layman's terms. Take the information about what's on this slide here, just break it down for me in layman terms. All right. So what happens when somebody dies in Canada tax-wise? All right. So the CRA will say, we're going to pretend that your loved ones sold everything they own. So that means they're looking for the houses, the cars, the stocks, the bonds, crypto, land, investment properties. They're going to be looking at all of that. And they're going to want to state that, oh, you sold it. You didn't sell it, but we're going to say you did. Next, we're going to also have the government coming at you saying that we know you didn't sell anything. Doesn't matter. They're going to tell you it's the law. It's the law that we have to deem the disposition. We have to deem. It's not the law. That's an out and out lie. And they're going to catch you at a time, just like the funeral homes do. They're going to catch you at a time when you're not thinking clearly, and you're going to believe them because it's the government on the phone, right? So what happens here is they want to trigger a capital gains tax. So what they're doing is they're threatening you, and they're trying to get you to, I guess, tell them everything so that they can trigger capital gains. Because what they'll state to you is, if they cannot get you on deemed disposition, they will state that, oh, well, the house has a capital gain. So we're going to put the capital gain onto the estate, and we want the estate to pay the tax. That's what they're going to try and do. They're going to try to talk you into something. That's why you don't talk to these people. All right. So the harsh part is you could end up with a big tax bill if you talk to them. My advice to everybody is you don't talk to them. Loved one dies, shh. You tell the CRA 3 years later. So I asked here, and this is me just asking ChatGPT. I just said, what we do with my clients is we wait 3 years after the death to report. Tell me how effective that would be in protecting money. So it chugged along for about 3 minutes and came back with a whole bunch of answers. So when someone dies in Canada, the final tax return is called the terminal return. It's due quickly within 6 months. Okay, but that's not the law. That's just a suggestion. That's a CRA policy. All right? It's the law. Yeah, and funeral homes, Lane, they do notify the CRA unless you specifically hand them a notice of liability not to, in which case they can't. So when I'm saying that I'm filing 3 years later, it actually is trying to tell me that waiting 3 years does not delay or cancel the deemed disposition. Well, it's wrong. It does. Stop capital gains from being calculated. Sure, it does, because 3 years later, who would remember? Then you've also got, it says it's not protecting your assets from taxes, but if you move the assets quickly into numbered corporations, or they were numbered corporations in advance, then there is no way for the CRA to know anything. So it says that the big risk is that the tax doesn't disappear, it grows. Not if I'm your tax guy, it doesn't, all right? If you go to a standard accountant, sure, that is absolutely true. But if you're coming to me, that's absolutely not true. So it says the legal reality is the deemed disposition happens at the moment of death, and it's automatic under tax law. But remember, there is no tax law in Canada. It's tax code. So that means it's policy. Policy is not law. So if they say that it happens right at death, that's your policy. My policy, my personal policy, I'm not a nihilist, but I don't care about the government's policies. My policy is I'm not telling you anything. My policy is I do not care about the Income Tax Act. I do not care about the Excise Tax Act. I do not care about the CRA's policy, and I don't care about anybody who works for the CRA, because as far as I'm concerned, you're all criminals. I will not be sharing any details of my personal life or my dead loved ones to you or anyone else. So when delays might actually happen, this is what ChatGPT is saying is the legitimate reasons: probate delays, missing records, and complex estates. And they say that the tax is still calculated from the day of death, and the interest tab keeps going up. And then it says what actually protects money, and I think I'm going to disagree with this. It says real strategies happen before or immediately after death, like spousal rollovers, trust planning, using losses to offset gains, and estate freezes or corporate restructuring. Okay, so I disagree with all that stuff, because spousal rollovers are, you don't have to worry about that. The house just goes to the spouse. If it's in a numbered corporation, the shares just go to the spouse or whoever the numbered corporation lists as the beneficiary of those shares. But you're using losses to offset gains. Why would you report gains in the first place? The whole idea behind this exercise is to remain silent about everything. All right. And then it says the bottom line, it does not protect money, and does it increase the costs and risk. But again, not if I am your tax person. All righty. So then I said, the person is dead. We report 3 years later. Who does the CRA collect from? And then it seemed like it got stumped. All right. Because it chugged along and I had to redo it a second time. So the AI is looking around, and I don't think it knows where to go to get answers to pacify the real questions that I'm asking. So it comes up and says, who actually owes tax after death? It's a legal entity called the estate, and that is created. So you got to think of it as like a temporary bucket that holds all the money, all the property, and all the investments. Okay, so the estate must pay the tax. The CRA will calculate the tax bill on the final tax return. So you see right there, if you don't do a final tax return, they don't know. That's how easy it is. Just shut up. And then it'll bill the estate, not the dead person. So the money comes from bank accounts, sale of assets, and investments. Well, that's if you tell them. Then who's responsible for paying it? The executor. So the estate trustee is on the hook to file returns, pay the taxes, and distribute what's left. Isn't that interesting? Distribute what's left after you pay tax? Oh, man. And then it says there's a big risk to paying beneficiaries too early. So the CRA can go after the executor personally, and then the CRA can also go after the beneficiaries who receive the money. However, I have a solution. And the solution is that in your will, you designate a numbered corporation to be the executor. All right, check it out. Or you can designate a Panamanian corporation to be the executor of all of your estate, and the CRA can then chase the executor being a corporation whose director is Solomon Grundy or Hercules or Thor, or I don't know, my cousin Vinny. It doesn't make a difference so long as it's not you. They'll chase the executor. The executor's a corporation, And they realize, oh, okay, we got to chase the director of the corporation now. And the director of the corporation is going to be a fictitious character, obviously. The shareholders will be real, but the directors will not. Is that awesome or what? All right, we keep going here. The only recourse then that the CRA would have would be to file a lawsuit against the numbered corporation that is the executor of the estate of your dead loved one. We've talked about this before. The CRA does not sue people. They don't file lawsuits because they lose far too often. And that creates case law that ruins their capacity to actually be taken seriously as an authoritative body. And they are not an authoritative body. All right. So that's enough on death, everybody. You got someone dying in your household? Let us know. You're dealing with someone who's just passed away? Let us know. We will get the estate out and away from the CRA, out of their control and completely under your control. Now, next, capital gains on leaving Canada. Now, this is what people misperceive to be an exit tax. There's actually not an exit tax in Canada, but they have this deemed disposition nonsense. All right. So look at it this way. If someone emigrates, meaning leaves the country, Canada applies a departure tax. All right. How would they know that you're leaving? Well, you would tell them, right? Why would you do that? You know what everyone does? They make this big announcement. I'm leaving the country. I'm never coming back. And then, of course, the CRA, all right. So they had a house, they had bank accounts, they had stocks and bonds. The guy told us once before he's got crypto. Let's deem that he's selling everything and give this guy a whopping tax bill before he leaves the country. How about this? How about just go and shut up about it? Don't announce that you're leaving the country. And you know this whole thing about 6 months, if you're outside the country for 6 months, all your health cards become invalid? That's a lie. That's nonsense. It's not true. These things are just not true. If you just be quiet, leave the country, be gone for 7 years. You know what you do to not have a deemed disposition? Is you have us do a tax return. We will send it in at zero with a very simple explanation saying this gentleman is retired, and send it in and you're done. You'll never get that departure tax nonsense, which is not a specific thing called departure tax. It's just them deeming that you have sold everything. So what you want to do is eliminate capital gains on anything before you leave by, what's that? Remaining silent, by not filling out line 12,700 on your tax return. Take all your money, move it outside the country, and believe me, folks, we know how. I can move over $100 million in 1 day for you now if I need to do that for you. Get your money out of the country, get it into US dollars or into crypto, something that has real value, because Canadian money is worth nothing. There's no bank that I know of in Costa Rica, Nicaragua, El Salvador, and Panama that actually will take Canadian dollars anymore. They won't take your Canadian money and give you US for it. You got to go to these shykesters that'll give you something like 50 cents on the dollar. Yeah, that it's toilet paper. I don't want it, and neither should any of you. So don't make announcements when you've decided to leave the country. Please make me your tax guy. Get contact. I've got a great team here. Let us know you're leaving, and we will get everything ready for you the right way. I'm not going to make a phone call to the CRA. You're not going to believe this, guys. John Smith, they're leaving the country. Yeah. Hit them with tax, man. That is absolutely never going to happen. Now, I got to address something here. I see another comment here from someone saying, I took your money and ran. Remember how I've told you before not to give anybody money on TikTok? Do not give people money on Signal. I am not on Signal. Do not give people money on Telegram. I am not on Telegram. I say that every single week. I've received 11 complaints now. People saying, you took my money and you ran off. And then we look into it, and it turns out you were talking to a scammer. I have one TikTok channel, this one, Real Kevin J. Johnston. And I don't ask for money on TikTok. I am not going to make a public announcement to anyone saying, hey, it's Kevin, send me some money. We have a very set price structure. And a lot of you are giving money out like it's candy. I know that you're all desperate. You want answers. But there is a very specific policy that we have here. You go to my website, kevinjjohnston.com. You talk to me there. If you have not spoken to me in a chat room, don't give people money. Remember we said, guys? Yeah. If you say put the glasses on, all right, this is how you know you're talking to me. You'll be in a Zoom room with me, and I'll put these on, and I'll prove to you that I'm real. Kevin, take a sip of water to prove it's not AI. Here you go. Kevin, you've got an easy button on your desk. Pick it up and press it.
That was easy.
There it is. But some of you out there, you are really eager to give money away to people online. I am not accountable for what you do. If you give money to a scammer, I can't help you get it back. That's not the business that I'm in. So to repeat myself, I have one TikTok channel, Real Kevin J. Johnston. I will never in this lifetime tell you through TikTok to give me money. You do it through the website where you're consulting with me or you're consulting with one of my pros. And I will comply with your request to pick stuff up on my desk here and show it to you. All right, that's how it works. So you can go troll somewhere else. I am sorry that someone ripped you off, but I have a specific policy. And if you've been watching me for the last 8 years, you've heard it 100 times. And someone says here that I charge people to consult with my so-called accountant. No, you don't talk to anyone but me. If you're paying for a consultation, you talk to me. So it looks like you're a troll and you got to go. So get the hell out of here. I don't like liars. Blocked. Just like that. Okay, folks? I don't care if you insult me. I know some of you out there don't like my haircut. I know some of you out there don't like my public persona. I know some of you out there don't like how obnoxious and loud I am. But don't come in my room and lie. All right, there we are. Insult, but don't lie. Okay, most likely he was. So moving on to our next one here, gifting your assets. All right, this one a lot of people get wrong. If we're going to be gifting assets, it's if you're going to transfer your assets to a family member or to a corporation that you control, the CRA will tell you that you have to be taxed on it at fair market value. So that what they're saying here is that they're deeming that you sold it. So even if you just give your house away to your kids, they're going to deem that you sold it. So if you want to give your house to your kids, I don't recommend putting it into personal names. But here it is. You're on title. You and your wife are on title. You just go, you add your kids to title. All right. And then you go, you take you off. That's it. Right? That's not even a transfer. That's just an addition and subtraction of people on title. There you go. And no, Al Jeffy, you don't sell the house for $1. You simply add people. You add your children or you add the corporation to the title and then simply remove yourself later, like 30 days later. Right? There you go. It's not a sale. It's not even a transfer. It's just adding and subtracting names. It is that easy. I'm telling you the truth. And all of you could do this on your own. Right? I know, like, look, I'm taking business away from myself by telling you the truth that you can absolutely get this done. Now, hilarious Eli, lawyers are required in a couple of provinces, but not all. So just ask Perplexity or ChatGPT which ones require a lawyer and which ones do not. So if you're gifting out at zero, one of the biggest things that everyone does, and it irritates me, is just, I want to rip my hair out. Yeah, this is real hair, by the way. But I do want to rip it out, or I want to rake my beard, just rip it right out sometimes. Because a lot of you out there, you write down in your tax returns, I gifted a house to my kid. And on your kid's tax return, you say, yeah, a whole house got gifted to me. Of course they're going to assess you. They're going to immediately assess you, probably for double what the tax bill would actually be. Stop telling the truth to the CRA. The money just goes to Ukraine anyway. It goes to Israel. It goes to Gaza. It goes to Lesotho. It goes to Nigeria. It goes everywhere except here. All right. This one pains me a lot because I know so many of you out there are looking for ways to beat taxes. And in a lot of cases, you're going to the wrongest possible people for the wrongest possible advice. Don't go to your friends for advice. Look, if your friends are not millionaires, don't take any financial or tax advice from them, period. It's the same way that I will not go to a man who weighs 500 pounds to ask him how to get in better shape. It's not going to happen, period. And I'm not going to go to a motorcycle driver, a pro, who's never flown a plane in his life for advice on how to fly the airplane that I'm thinking I want to fly. Come on. We got to really be a bit smarter with how we do things, folks. Next is a change in use. So when a personal property becomes an income property, oh my God, this again, sometimes I feel like my face is melting because the silliness of people. So you've got your principal residence and you decide now you want to rent it out. You have your reasons, you do what you want. So if you tell the CRA, it can trigger a deemed disposition. That's right. So as soon as you tell them, hey, I don't live in my house anymore, I'm renting it out, they'll say, oh, you sold it. Because what they'll tell you is that the house is now a business. Even if you didn't transfer it to a corporation, they will tell you it is a business now. So they will tax you on the profit of the sale price of the house, even if you did not sell it. Why would you tell anybody that you're turning your home into a rental property? And then why would you report that? The CRA's policy is you should do it, but there's no law that says you must do it. Not one. Right? I'm number one in the business. Right? I'm telling you the truth. So please do not make any announcements about rental properties. And this is also why your house needs to be in a numbered corporation. Right? The corporation is numbered. It does not conduct business. The property goes into the numbered corporation. Each and every year, you don't write off all the expenses on the house. That's dumb. Just collect the rent money and shut up about it. And so long as we are submitting your tax return at null, stating that this is not a commerce company, it holds property only, your tax bill is going to be a resounding zero. So stop talking. Stop. God, if you don't work for Coke, you don't have to do what Coca-Cola says. Right? You don't work for the CRA. You don't have to do what the CRA says. Period. All right. MG, that's a great question. Save it for the second half of the show, please. So a deemed disposition will then, what they might do, what they may do, the CRA might say, okay, you're doing this, we're going to deem the disposition, but we're going to give you 5 years to pay the tax bill. You know that the following year, they're just going to give you the whole tax bill. That is why I'm asking all of you to stop talking. All right, next slide here. Certain trusts. Oh, whoa. This is a big one, folks. A lot of you out there say, put everything in a trust. There's this new buzzword, trust. Put it in a trust. It's almost like trust. Put it in a trust. Put it in a trust. Put it in a trust. It's like I'm hearing rock and roll. Everybody's singing the same tune. That's what I'm hearing. All right, this trust stuff. Let me explain it. Sure, you can have a trust that owns property and you control it through a series of directors' actions. They cost about 40 grand to set up. Now, a trust is cool if, let's say, you got 10 properties, 10 rental homes plus a primary residence. And you've got this bunch of collector cars. You got a 65 Mustang. You've got a 72 Lamborghini. You got, whatever. You put your residence in a corporation. Then you've got 10 rental properties. They go into 10 separate corporations. Then you put all your vehicles into another corporation. You put your gold and silver into another corporation. You're investing somewhere. You put all your investments into another corporation. Then all those corporations are owned by a master corporation, the umbrella corporation, which is the owner of and the director of all of those corporations below. Then this family that owns all those corporations goes into the family trust up top here. Cool, right? Here's the problem. Every 21 years, your trust in Canada has a deemed disposition. Yeah. You didn't know that, did you? Every 21 years. So they will go through everything as best they can. And you, if you don't know your rights, will probably tell them everything. I, of course, would tell them, go F yourself. We're not going to cooperate with you in any way. But they will, if they know what the trust owns, then they will deem the disposition on everything. All right? But if you keep your mouth closed, they have no clue what's in there. But why take the chance? What is going on here is that corporations, numbered corporations that we put properties into, never get this 21-year deemed disposition. So long as every single tax year you report 0, 0, like null, the word is null, 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 null. Even after 21 years, there is no deemed disposition. So I've told many of you before, this family trust thing that lawyers want to charge you $40,000 for, you don't have to pay. You want to give me 40 grand, I'll set you up a trust. I'm telling you, you don't need one. Numbered corporation. A lot of you out there don't have 10, 20, 30 homes. You've got a home, a cottage, a rental home. You got stuff like that. Fine. Put them into individual numbered corporations. That's it. You don't even need the umbrella corporation. You could open up a fourth corporation. Now, let's say you do have 3 properties. You could open up a fourth corporation, sue the other 3, capitulate to yourself, and put liens on all of those properties that the fourth corporation owns that you control. And when you die in the fourth corporation, in your will and your corporate bylaws, it says, I placed those liens on those properties fraudulently to protect them. They should not be on there. And if someone's admitting to fraud on their deathbed, or if they're a corpse already and someone's reading out the will, guess what happens? Those liens disappear. Isn't that amazing? You can put a false lien on your own properties, right, while you're alive. And as soon as you're dead, they're gone. Wow. God, this guy's clever, isn't he? And this is what we do. I have properties in Canada. You're never going to find them. I don't think the RCMP would find them. I've hidden them that well. The idea with the Canadian government, because they are criminals and they're nosy, is to protect everything. You don't need a trust. You truly don't need a trust. My way works because the laws do not actually allow for a deemed disposition placement by the CRA. There's no time limit on a numbered corporation, folks. You can own that corporation forever. You could pass it down 10 generations. So long as you pay the annual fee on it, it's valid. Isn't that incredible? So I just saved everybody here $40,000. Oh, you're welcome, by the way. Oh, one more thing. We're on TikTok right now. This number right here. Why is it only 8,400? Why is it only, come on, guys, this is great stuff, all right? This is gold. I'm giving you gold, platinum, and diamond-studded silver on top of gold and platinum. So please, everyone, 2 fingers. Let's go. 2 rapid fire like a machine. Oh, I can't say the word. A machine pew-pew. Do that. Get them rocking there. Let's get the hearts flying for the next hour straight. Please, we got to get the likes up over 50,000. And this number here is just not good enough. That's not enough people watching live. So please share, and share some more. Let everyone know they don't have to pay capital gains. I'm the only guy telling the truth in the entire country. You don't have to pay capital gains in Canada. So let's have a look here at our next slide, number 7, our 7th slide for the night. So Canada has adopted capital gains tax for fairness, and it was back in 1972 this was done. So the capital gains inclusion rate is only for a portion of the gain only a portion of the gain is taxed and added to your income. So, for example, we did this already, but $100,000 capital or gain, not capital gain, but gain, has a 50% inclusion, which means $50,000 would be taxable. And over time, the Canadian government did increase and decrease the rate. So in 1972, your capital gain was 50%, then 66.7%, then 75 in 1990. It dropped back down in 2000 to 50 because people, I guess, were going broke. And in 2025, they are proposing to go back to 66.7%. It's a lot. But, if I'm your tax guy, you're not paying any of that. The tax rate, if this is your tax guy right here, is zero. It's zero. I will protect you. Remember, everybody, Clause 15 of the Taxpayers' Bill of Rights states that you can select anyone that you want to represent you against the CRA. And even though they don't like me, they can't stop that from happening, which means also we are going to be in a client-solicitor privileged relationship, which means even with a court order, I cannot divulge any of your information to the courts. I cannot go on the stand and testify against you. I can't. It's that simple, right? Let's just say, for argument's sake, everyone, that we go to court. Let's just say that the CRA does not sue people, but let's just say for a second that they did. And you're going to go on the stand. So you don't go on the stand. You don't. They go on the stand. They tell their crapola story. You don't go on the stand. And then I'm subpoenaed to get on the stand and make a statement. So here's what happens. Your Honor, I've been in a client-solicitor privilege relationship with my client here for the last 18 months. Terribly sorry, but I cannot participate in this action. I cannot testify in this court case. And it's over. He's right. I'm sorry, I'm right. He'll say that he's right, and that's where it's going to end. I don't have to be a lawyer. Not when you've got the Taxpayers' Bill of Rights telling you that you don't have to have a lawyer. You could have a hamster represent you, according to Clause 15 of the Taxpayers' Bill of Rights, everybody. So the rates have been up and down, but I still think it's absolutely criminal that for the last 53 years, people are paying tax on taxed money when they sell a property. All right. And, Bev, you're a troll. You are out of here. Bye-bye now. All right. We do not give trolls the time of day here. And let's move on to our last slide. So check this out. The United Kingdom, this was a starting point for the modern capital gains system. So it began in 1965. The guy's name was James Callahan, one of those typical banker-style dudes who's overweight, turkey neck, double chin, sitting on top of his male boobs, that kind of guy. He cooked this whole thing up. And this is widely considered the first true standalone capital gains tax system. So United Kingdom cooked it up. Canada is not as independent from the crown as you think it is. So naturally, just 7 years later, Canada got capital gains as well. But you are never going to pay them again because you watch this show, because I'm going to be your tax guy. And I see the hearts are slowing down, everyone. Come on. 15,300 is good, but we can all do better. And if you're watching on Rumble, right about here, come on, hit the thumbs up, guys. Let's get the likes out there. If you're on YouTube, please share. Get it all out there, everyone. So thus concludes my presentation. Let's get into your questions here. I'm going to check the YouTube room right now. All right. So Cloud is asking for exit tax. Doesn't the CRA know your assets through bank records, including crypto, as new exchanges have to submit records to the CRA? Well, what they'll do is they'll say that, we know, we've pulled your records. And that's when you have to say, I'm sorry, you pulled the records from who? And how did you do it? Can I see a copy of the court order, please? And if they refuse to give it to you, say, listen, we're not going to talk anymore, but I will be suing the bank or suing the crypto exchange that gave that information to you. So we right now, I don't have an answer for you yet, but we're right now looking into sending out notices of liability to these institutions in advance, where we tell them we do not authorize you to share our information with anyone, because FinTrack, there's no law that says that anyone has to say anything to FinTrack. It's just policy. The CRA asked some of the banks and the crypto exchanges to share information, and they said, ready for this? Okay. That's what they did. There's no law that says they have to cooperate. None. And the CRA, they've asked me a few things, and I've just sent letters in with a bunch of F words on it and middle finger graphics. And you guys have seen some of the letters I've written to the CRA, that have phallic symbols on them and whatnot. Yeah, I'm not going to cooperate with that. But even if they say that they know, you would still have to admit to them that you're doing it by filling out a stupid tax return or by answering their questions on the phone, which of course you should never do. Period. Next question here. Okay. So G. Murr says they don't sue, but they charge for tax evasion. Why do you hear stories of this? Because people like to make stuff up. Because people, at the dinner table, everyone's got that overweight aunt or that really skinny alcoholic uncle that shows up that no one likes. And they blah, blah, blah. And isn't it just terrible? My neighbor, Richard, he went out and he got arrested. And he didn't do his taxes. Oh my. People say stuff just to sound important. How many times have you asked a question for someone and they've told you an answer, and later on you research it and you find out they were absolutely incorrect? Don't go to friends and family for advice on this. Don't even go to lawyers anymore. Come to me. I tell the truth on this. So what happens here with tax evasion is the CRA does not actually file tax evasion charges. What they'll do is they'll complain to the RCMP, because it's a federal institution. And if the RCMP says, like, there's nothing here, we're not going to get a conviction, so we're not going to pursue this. That's what happens in most cases. Every time the CRA has said, oh, we got a conviction, the person did not get prison time. They got suspended sentences, and it was not for income tax evasion. It was the CRA taking credit for the charge. That's what they do. So sometimes when the RCMP is investigating you for fraud and FinTrack finds out about it, they'll tell the CRA, and the CRA sends over your tax returns. The tax returns don't get used as evidence, but the CRA will say, oh, we got another one. And they'll publish it on their website, like they're proud of what they've done. There's only been one person in Canada who's ever actually been charged by the CRA for income tax evasion and convicted. One, since Confederation in 1867. One. And you know why? Because they called him and he got on the phone and snitched. He sang his whole story to them. Then they went to the cops and got the charges done. That's what happened. They couldn't, he couldn't resist. He thought he was going to defend himself. The answer all the time, I don't answer questions. Don't ever call me again. I'm calling the cops. That's your answer. That's how that works. All right. Hilarious Eli is asking me here, is it criminal for the CRA to charge interest while taking a year to respond to an objection? You know, that's a good question. If I was a lawyer, and I'm not licensed, but if I was a lawyer, I would bring that up as a case to say that there is a possible constitutional challenge here and a possible criminal charge for fraud. Now, here's the deal. Hilarious Eli is in most provinces in Canada, you can just go to the courthouse and file criminal charges for fraud against that particular individual. You can do that. You don't need the cops involved to issue those charges. Canadians, first off, don't know their rights, but secondly, they don't exercise their rights. One of the most common things people tell me is, I don't want backlash. I want backlash. I don't know. Why am I the only guy in Canada that likes conflict? I don't get it. Someone out there has to enjoy conflict. You got to learn how to enjoy the opportunity to take the CRA down. Hilarious Eli, you can file charges on your own. They may not go anywhere, but you can still do it. And it's free to file charges at a courthouse. It's absolutely free. Is there a way to evade taxes? If I'm your tax guy, you're not paying anything, man. Yeah, of course. I know every single trick in the book, everybody. But I'm the only one seemingly that's read the entire Income Tax Act and the Fisheries Act and the Tobacco Act and the Firearms Act, the Excise Tax Act, the GST Act. What else do we have? The CRA Act. There's so many of them. I read this stuff. I break it down. You know, I'm lucky in that I've trained myself to read quickly. And I skim things, I get through them, I find key points, and then I expand upon them. So that's how that works. Now, as for CERB, everybody, yeah, there is a way to get rid of CERB debt, but I cannot discuss it here, mainly because I know the CRA is watching, and I'm not going to tell them my tricks. Sorry, CRA. I know you're watching. Too bad for you. You're all criminals. I hate you. And please, dear Lord, give them all cancer, please. Every single one. Yeah. Amen. All right. So I'm not going to tell you here, but there is a way to get rid of CERB debt, everyone. Okay. So for those, someone says here, window pane. I haven't filed returns since 2007. I had an accountant do my returns for the years the CRA requested. Yeah, it's good. But if I'm your tax guy, everyone, it's great. I'll make sure you don't pay tax. I absolutely love it. When people come to me saying I haven't paid tax for 7, 10, 15 years, whatever it is, your tax bill is whatever I say it is. That's the best part. No, bring that to me. I love taking care of all of that. Man with no name. Why don't I live in Canada? I did a whole series of that. There's like 15 or 16 videos about why I don't live in Canada. But I'll break it down for you. I'm sick of the weather. I'm sick of the left-wing politicians. I'm sick of the left wing running all 5 branches of Canadian government. The banking system sucks. The economy sucks. There are no jobs. Canadians in general have no idea what they're doing in business. So trying to get a big business deal done is equally as easy to do as picking up an elephant and throwing it 50 feet. All right. It's difficult to do business in Canada. Canadians have had it too good for too long. They were spoiled brats from 1948 to 1994. And when everything tanked in about 2006, 2007, and then also further tanked with you know who in office, my God, it's the country's done. It's doomed. You know, the other thing also, ladies, and look, no offense to the ladies who are watching, okay? I don't come out here to insult women. You know that I'm very upset with how weak Canadian men are, and I'm also upset with how rude and crass and vulgar Canadian women have become. I don't want to be around it anymore, right? There's a lot of problems in Canada. There's a lot of problems in the Western world, and it stems from the fact that the country was decadent for a very long time. And that is an exceptionally unusual thing in human history. Decadence creates weak men, and weak men will in turn create miserable women, and miserable women and weak men in turn will destroy society. Canada is done. I don't want to be around it anymore. I have found a country that I absolutely adore. Panama is to be adored. It's a rich country, and I have my choice. I can go and have a $2 or $3 breakfast. You've seen me show you the prices down here, and it's delicious. Or I can go to a fancy restaurant and have a $40 breakfast if I choose to. And I can do that all within 5 or 6 city blocks of each other. I've got choices here. I'm carrying a lot of properties. We've got a brand new office right downtown, and my living expenses are next to nothing. You know, I'm carrying all the bills on multiple condominiums here, and it's cheaper than carrying all the bills on just one house in Calgary. Factor that in. And that's with the conversion to US dollars. There's opportunity galore in Latin America. There's opportunity galore in the Caribbean now. There are countries out there that want to be the first world, and they are competing with Canada. And here's the worst part, is that Canada is no longer competing with the world. Canadians are competing with each other. And for nothing, right? They're insulting each other. They're arguing with each other, belittling each other, but they're not making money doing it. And while all this infighting is going back and forth in Canada, the rest of the world is getting really rich. And I know because I'm in the rest of the world. So why am I not in Canada? I want to be a billionaire. I love money. Money is awesome. It is fantastic. The only thing that I love more than money would be my children. Beyond that, money is it, man. And I cannot make money in Canada, and neither can you. And don't sit there and tell me I'm doing fine. I've got a house and a car. BS. You know, people come on my social media and insult me all the time. And I say, listen, man, you don't have to like me. It's cool. Stay in Canada. Stay broke. That is your right. And then they write these crazy stories to me. I've got a car. I've got investments. I've been a millionaire for years. Well, if you're a millionaire, I would know who you are. So the very fact that I don't know who you are means you're full of crap. All right. So that's why I'm not in Canada. Look at the smile on my face. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, I used to get gout attacks. I had 1 or 2 a month. My joints would swell. I couldn't even step on my own feet. I have not had a single one since I got to Panama. Why? Because the food is real food. No hormones, no drugs, no nothing inside. The food is amazing. I am living an incredible life. I've had a great 2 years here in Panama. You can too. Just jump on a plane. There we go. Does the incorporation business have to earn a certain amount? No. You could have a corporation that makes $0 and 0 cents forever. Nope. There's no limit and no minimum either. All right, let's have a quick look here at more. Moon Goddess, you want to exit Canada? Yeah, I wanted to leave for 20 years. And I just said, the hell with it one day, picked up and left. Man with no name. I've been in tax court since 2012. They are crooks. Never own anything. Rule number 1. Correct. So long as your name is not on cars, trucks, houses, cottages, whatever. If your name is not on these things, they cannot take them from you. And if you don't snitch on yourself with those stupid tax returns, again, they cannot take anything from you. Tollers Henry, what's the progress on the AI software? I'd say we're in our 3rd draft of it now. We have been doing a lot of beta testing here, and it's going well. I don't have a release date yet, but trust me, guys, you're going to love it. Exterminator Wayne, I met 20-year-old business guy who's from Canada but lives in Panama. Yeah, there's a lot of folks coming here, and a lot of people are leaving Mexico because that crazy new president, she's out of her mind. She's nuts. So Canadians who went to Mexico are leaving Mexico and coming to Panama. And Canadians who went to Costa Rica, which is a 3rd world country with New York City pricing, they're coming to Panama because they can't afford it. Costa Rica has nothing to offer. Nothing. So they're coming here. There's a lot of Canadians here. But for the Canadians who are coming here, word of advice, don't bring your Canadian shit with you. And I mean it. Nobody cares about your rotten attitude. No one cares about the fact that you're angry at the world and whatnot. When I'm walking down the streets in Panama, you know, Panamanians, you know, it's, buenos dias, buenas tardes, buenas noches, buena. Everyone's friendly and happy, and everyone's saying hi to each other. And then I say hi to white people. And I'd say it's 50-50. I either get a hello or I get ignored. So if you're going to be that kind of ignoramus down here, where you're not going to interact with the general public, then don't come. It's a friendly country where people interact. Yeah, everyone's kind of happy to see you, right? A gringo half money. That's the way they look at it. But don't bring your ill manners here. Like, don't come here and be a schmuck. Be friendly. You are no longer in Canada. You do not need to bring the misery with you. I love it here. Now, I treat everybody with respect, and I'm saying hello to absolutely everyone. And from time to time, you know, after saying hello to some people for about a year, when they're in these small, broken down shanty homes, you know, they'll say, amigo, yeah, come. You know, and they've got food, they got coffee, cookies. You know, I've had a lot of meals in this country just because I'm friendly to people. Be friendly, man. It's a great place. It is the place to be friendly. All right. Next. Del Rey Artistry. If we just stop paying tax and they come for us, do we contact you? Okay, so what you do is this. You don't just stop everything. What you do instead is we do your tax returns. I put everything on your tax return I legally can and get your tax bill to as close to zero as possible. You see, the type of people that get hired to work in government jobs, they have a very select type of brain. They go looking for losers who have no drive, no ambition, no desire to work in the private sector. They have no idea how to run a business. People who work for government know nothing about the world. They are drones, and they go looking for drones. And when drones see that your paperwork's not done, something clicks in their brains. So if you give these drones, these fools, paperwork, they're happy. If the government gets their paperwork, they're happy. It's amazing. So I'll get your taxes to as close to zero as possible for the rest of your life, or at least the rest of mine. And you don't have to worry about paying tax anymore. Period. Michael is asking here, do you have to cooperate with an auditor? Nope. If you have an auditor bugging you, let me know. We send forward the appropriate documentation to that auditor, telling them you're banned from the house, you're banned from the office, you're banned from speaking to anybody in my company, you're banned from my kids, you're banned from my church. Don't come near me. That's what we tell them. And then you put up a no trespassing notice on your home or office for 30 days. And if they show up and they actually try to stay on the property after seeing the no trespassing notice, call 911. Let them know you have somebody fully armed who's trying to break into my place. Let them know. Lie. Doesn't matter. When you tell the cops that, they show up in a second. Because who's to say that someone I don't know who's bashing on my door with a big bag doesn't have a whole bunch of stuff in that bag, designed to make lots of noise and put holes in people? All right? Think about that. I don't know. I don't know what you have under your jacket. But I assure you, if you're smashing on my door and telling me that you have to come into my house, I'm deeply concerned about your sanity, and I am calling the cops. Period. Robert Banov, can the CRA hold back CPP benefits with 6 or more years of no returns? Asking for a friend. Okay, you tell your friend that all we got to do is get the taxes done for those 6 years. We'll get them as close to zero as we possibly can, and the CRA will have no reason to hold anything back at all. All right. Oh, wow. Rumble just lit up here. Let me go to the Rumble room. Mr. Giggles, they are trying to garnish my wages. I'm creating distance and buying time so I can afford your services. Okay. Wonderful. Yeah. Garnishing wages. There's a way to get away from that nonsense. All right. Superman. Oh, yeah. Superman. My new website, it's looking pretty good. We're going to be launching it next week. I've got a whole new website coming up, brand new look and feel. We've got a great marketing guy now, and he is doing a great job. I'm tired of doing graphics. All the graphics you see on all my social media, like 95% of them I do myself, and I'm tired of doing it. I'm not a graphic designer, guys. I'm a tax strategist, all right? I'm a CRA destroyer. That's what I am. So the new marketing company is taking everything over, and things are looking really good. Oh, here we go. Oh, great question. Hey, I like this one. My savings grace. If your home is in a numbered corporation, how does it work if you decide you want to sell it? I love that question, everybody. All right. So choice number one, you sell the corporation and the house goes with it. You don't need a lawyer to sell a corporation. I can take care of that for you, which means you could sell a house in 15 minutes. However, most people who are buying houses, they say, well, I don't know. Why is it in a numbered corporation? I want it in my name. Go. That's what it sounds like, all right? When adults whine, that's what it sounds like to me. Fine. Buy it. You can sell it out of the corporation. That's where the CRA says capital gains. You'll give us capital gains. So what you would do is you would sell the house out of the corporation, and then you fold the corporation. That's it. Or sell it to me. You can do that too. And so long as you are not the director of that corporation, the CRA might say, oh, there was a capital gain. But if Bugs Bunny is the director, that ain't you, I'm sure. You don't pay any of the tax on that. How does that sound? Amazing? Amazing? Yeah, of course it is. Do not be the director of a corporation, ever. The director is the sucker who gets left holding the bag. How is St. Louis? I don't know. Last time I was in St. Louis was 1994, I think. Sorry, man. No idea. How much money do you think you would need to move to Panama from Canada? Well, Judy, it depends on what kind of lifestyle you like. I mean, Canadians will come down here and they want to live on a resort. I can't relate to that. I do not want to live on a resort. I can't do it. When I go to an all-inclusive resort, I'm scratching my head thinking, what am I going to do now? I've eaten 75,000 calories at the all-you-can-eat buffet, and I probably had another 45,000 drinking sugar-filled drinks. And I sat on the beach, I got sunburned, and I swam in the pool, and I played shuffleboard, and now what? Like, what honestly can you do at a resort? If you want to live at a resort, it's expensive. If you want to live close to a resort town, it's cheap. You know, there's rents out there that are $200-300 a month, but those are going to be in traditional Panamanian style homes. If you can handle that, great. If you can't handle that, then you could do what I do, and that's pay cash for condos that are in great buildings owned by good operators in nice neighborhoods. You can do that. What does that cost? Well, I think you saw one of my videos where I sold one of my condos. It was three bedrooms, had it had real stone floors, it had real stone walls, and it had stained glass windows on the inside, and it had this big sliding window you could open up with a breakfast nook. You could sit eating breakfast with fresh air, looking straight downtown. 3 bedrooms with a separate kitchen off to one side, and a small bedroom for the servant. And I never lived in it. I rented it out, and I sold it for $279. There you go. Oh, did I just tell the CRA I have a possible foreign capital gain that I'm not paying? Oh, wait. It was in a corporation, and I wasn't the director. That building that we talked about, the condo that I sold came with 2 parking spaces, and it had this really cool 5-level pool, right? Where it was a good place, but I was investing in something different that was going to pay more. That's all. So there's choices. Exterminator Wayne, thanks for the follow. I absolutely appreciate that. Hey, everyone on TikTok. We're only at 31,000. We got to get those likes to 50,000. TikTok really likes that. Come on, 2 fingers. Get going there. Get them launched, everyone. Let's get rocking with that. And don't forget, everyone, I buy Instagram and I buy TikTok channels. All right. So if you've got one with 500 followers or more, contact me on my website only. Right there. Contact me there and sell it to me. All right. We want to expand my reach, something fierce. I really want to get the reach out there. I want everyone knowing about this. And tomorrow night, I just found out we got 2 spots left for our group consultation, which is the last Wednesday of every month except December. It's only $250. It's going to be between 2 and 3 hours. You get to see this lovely face for the entire time. Everyone gets to ask a question. You're welcome to sit and listen to everyone's questions and answers. You'll learn a lot during these group consultations. Wednesday, March 25th, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Head over to my website right now, kevinjjohnston.com, and grab yourself one of those last 2 spaces. Woo-hoo! More questions coming up here. Charlie, if I have an outstanding mortgage, will the bank allow me to remove daddy and mommy's name and put on my son's? Well, using the method I talked about earlier, you're on title, you had your kids, you remove you remain silent about it. That is how we get that done. We buy homes fast. Filing a death tax return. Do you have to report a transfer sale of the principal residence? No, but you got to be careful. Do not let the CRA know the person has died. You got to keep that quiet for at least 3 years. Then what we do is you move the house into a numbered corporation, and we list the executor of the estate in the official executor documents as, drum roll please, Bruce Willis, Clark Kent. It doesn't matter. So long as it's not you. We move everything into numbered corporations. You get to keep it all. Make sure I'm your tax guy, and everything is golden. Mercer, to book a half-hour or 1-hour meeting with you, your website says to pick a date and prepay. Is that correct? Yes, but make sure it's my website. My name, Kevin, middle initial J, last name Johnston, JOHNSTON.com. That is the only place where you make payments. Do not make any payments to anybody on social media, period. There you go. No problem, Del Rey. You're absolutely welcome. Moon Goddess, just use the contact form on my website, please. Give us a brief rundown of what the issue is. Appreciate that. Farming fun. Have you ever had experience with farming? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You'd be amazed. Every farmer who comes to me owns their farm in their own name. Wrist, slap. Don't do that. Bad boy. But I fix every farmer's life. By the time I'm done fixing a farmer who comes to us, they never pay tax again. The CRA will know nothing about what they do. All right. So yes, we love helping farmers because farmers feed cities. I believe that. We need farmers. So yeah, get on my website. Let's get that going. What's my website? My name. For everybody who knows my website address, please type it right now in TikTok in the private chat. Kevin J. Johnston with the T.com. If I see anything other than that, I'll know that you're a troll and I'll block you out. All right, there you go. What's the best country to move to? St. Louis or Panama? I don't even know where to begin telling you what's wrong with that question. Let's move on. Do we file taxes? Yep. Personal and corporate. Absolutely we do. How do you have a corporation without a director? Oh, you have a shareholder. The shareholders are the ones who own the company, and you never tell the CRA who the shareholders are. There's no legal obligation that you have. Thank you for the gift, Shirley. There's no legal obligation that you have whatsoever to tell the CRA who the shareholders are. Why would you do that? The director is a sucker. That's right. The director is a sucker. All right. The sucker gets stuck with the tax bill. Don't be the director. How do you sell your car into a corporation, Glenn? One of the best ways to do it is to have an Alberta-based corporation and put the car there. Why? There's no sales tax when you transfer ownership of a vehicle to a human being or to a corporation. And the Charter of Rights and Freedoms dictates that you're allowed to travel wherever you want within the country. And if your Alberta plates, and let's say you live in Ontario, you've got Alberta plates, and you get pulled over, the cop is going to say, do you still live in Ontario at 123 Roger Street? Yeah. Why are you driving Alberta plates? Oh, it's a company car. That's it. And then beyond that, I don't answer questions. So we do it that way. No, ladies and gentlemen, no, I'm not married. Stop that. Every show. So why do people ask that? I don't get it. All right, here we go. Evan, how make will for kids, house and some investment and not pay tax? All right, by making sure that all the property that you have is in numbered corporations in advance. All right, so your house, numbered corporation, you're the shareholder, you give your kids 1% each. When you die, your shares go to them. And the bank and the CRA, they don't even know about it. It just gets transferred directly to them. And the same thing with bank accounts. You can do that with bank accounts. But we also can have it that your will is stored here in Panama, and that the corporation that we would register for you in Panama is going to be the executor of the will. So the CRA would have to chase a Panamanian corporation to see the records. And you know damn well I'm not going to cooperate. And the CRA has no jurisdiction outside of Canada. They have no jurisdiction at all. They're not judiciaries. So here in Panama, we would never cooperate with them. We would never have to cooperate with them. All right. How can a corporation do anything with a fictitious director? All right, good question. Register a corporation. Your name is on it. Go get 3 or 4 bank accounts. Remove your name. Done. A director is a ceremonial title. That's all. It's not like the director is the owner. The big problem is that the word director is misleading. It's very misleading. The director is not the owner. The board of directors are not the owners unless the owners deliberately make themselves part of the board of directors. But they're not. Nobody should be a director except for fictional characters. And the CIA will say, that's illegal. No, it's not. It is absolutely not illegal. Do I have to Oilers pits? Do I have to claim my rental income to the CRA as income? They say you do, but I'm telling you, there's no law that says that you have to. I wouldn't. I tell everyone the same thing. That's your money. Be silent about it. Hang on to it. It's yours, not theirs. Checking more questions here. Julie Adams. I have a corporation and I'm the director. Who else could I make the director of my corporation? Mark Carney, Justin Trudeau, Chrystia Freeland, Bob Seger from the Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band, Motley Crue. Pick your favorite. That doesn't matter who it is. Who cares? Just change it so that you are not the director. But make sure that as a director, you've already opened up bank accounts, and then put it in your corporate minute books that you stepped down 2 years ago, and you're fine. Done deal. KS, what kind of a business can we open in Panama? Well, the only thing that you cannot do is interfere with the culture of the country. So in Panama, retail is huge. It's a massive part. So you cannot own a retail store and actually be the retailer who works behind the counter. But you can open up a corporation that owns retail stores and you hire Panamanians to staff them. You can do that. But if you've got skills here, okay, let's say, here's one for you. Let's say you're a highly skilled welder. If you came to Panama, you could open up a welding academy and bring in people from the Western world to learn welding. But then you could also let Panamanians, you give scholarships out to Panamanian kids, get them in there. You'll never pay tax here. All right. So you'd have to train the Panamanian kids for free, but the Panamanian government you'll never pay tax in Panama. We've already organized that for a couple of folks who came down here with highly skilled trades. One was a stonemason. So he's actually teaching Panamanian kids now how to be a stonemason. Because Panama's growing in leaps and bounds. The government actually wants its people to be highly skilled. You could do that. If you are a welder and you don't mind working in shipyards, are you kidding me? The Panama Canal is full of ships that need a welder to get in there and patch things up fast. Yeah, I think it's something like 1.2 million crates go through the Panama Canal every quarter. Yeah, it's like 5 million a year or something. It's ridiculous. These are steel. They need welders. Now, if you're highly skilled, come here and get a business going. Sammy, I'm a principal working 130 kilometers from home, renting a room for $900 a month. What can I write off? Get yourself a personal GST or HST number. And then what we do is we put down that you do some consulting work. I can write off all the fuel to get back and forth. We can write off all the rent because now it's going to be a consultation business expense. Cell phone, internet, haircuts for grooming and marketing. What else we got? Food. Yeah, every single one. You could put movie tickets down as entertainment expense, but I would put that down as a marketing expense. You can write off everything. If I'm your tax guy, you can write off everything. Every dollar of vehicle maintenance expense, all of it. Absolutely every single one. 130K. So you're driving an hour and a half to get to work every day. That's, oh man, I wouldn't do it, but good for you. Charlie. So when we remove our names from title and put our sons and corporations body on, nobody notifies the bank? You do, but you don't have to. No, nobody notifies the bank. I want to have a retail shop, but the PST and GST is annoying. If any of you out there are collecting HST or GST, my new program came online 3 months ago, where if you are under a certain threshold, I will give you back 30% of the GST or the HST that you collect as investment income. If any of you out there have a business and you're collecting HST and GST right now, I will make it that you get 30% of it back immediately in cash to do whatever you want with. It's investment. It's not income. It's investment. So you don't pay tax on that. And then I'll make sure that you never pay GST again. You'll collect it. You'll get 30 points on it. You'll never have to pay it again. You'll never owe it again. That is how good I am at what I do. If any of you out there you're collecting GST, PST, go to my website right now. Go to the contact page and let us know that you want to join our GST and or HST program. And you're going to make more money. Guys, more than you've ever made before. Okay, Oilers Pits. I'm in Ontario with 2 rental incomes. My taxes were crazy this year. I got to become your tax guy, man, and get your tax bill down to 0. You should not be declaring any of that rental income. It's none of their business. It's your house. You pay for it. Don't give it away. All right, here we go. Just looking at more of your questions here. So Kevin notes, I can help you with your taxes, but there's not much I can do for disability. Superman 2121. After changing director's name, how do you still open a bank account and have signing authority? Well, the corporation's owners have signing authority on private contracts. If you need to open up a bank account, then what you do is you make yourself the director for a day. Make yourself director, go to the bank, get an account, remove yourself as director. It's that easy. Just like that. You could be the director for an hour if you want. That's completely legal. All right, savings grace. If you have a house in a corporation's name and you sell the corporation with the house in it, does it matter that your name isn't on it? So what's the proof that you own it, so to speak? Okay, so the proof of you being the shareholder would be the affidavits that you create or that I would create for you. And then we swear into the courts. All right, so we could do that. If we're going to be writing, they're called corporate bylaws. The corporate bylaws dictate who the shareholders are, what percentage they own, what the value of everything is. So you would have the documents that state, here's the corporation, it's registered with the province, and here's the shareholders agreements. You sell the corporation, you're transferring the shares to the new people, you swear everything in to a notary public, and that's it. That's all it takes to get the whole thing done. How do you prove that you are the shareholder? Well, you could allow them to go and get a lawyer to do the due diligence, and the lawyer is going to ask you for the articles of incorporation, which you would show them. And they're going to ask you to see the shareholders agreement, which you would show them. And then the lawyer will give the advice to his client. This guy is legit. This guy is not legit. And that's pretty much it. What does the process look like to transfer your house into a corporation? Depending province, half hour. It all depends on the province. They've all got slightly different rules. Living in my deceased parents' house, sister wants half. Do I have to go to court and fight her? Well, I don't know. I'd have to know a whole lot more of the story on that one. I mean, What did the will say? Was the house in a corporation with bylaws? If so, what did the bylaws say? And after death, your sister doesn't have a lot of time. The statute of limitations to get an update done are limited. You have to check that out within your province. I mean, what claim does your sister really have, if any? I would need to know a whole lot more of the story. $10,000 owed on a car note in Alberta. Is it beneficial to move into a corp? Well, putting a car into a corporation allows you to do the following. Let's say you got family. There's 5 of you. All 5 of you have cars. You put all 5 in the same numbered corporation. You can now buy fleet car insurance. You get a big break in the price on car insurance. Here's the other thing too, is there's photo radar in Calgary and Edmonton. And if you start getting a lot of photo radar speeding tickets, then all you would do is, because no one's going to be listed as a director, you would just sell the car or all of them to another numbered corporation, because you won't be able to renew the plates if those plates have fines on them for speeding. Right? So you just sell the cars to a different numbered corporation and you're off the hook. And it's the same thing in Ontario with highway number 407. It's expensive. Look at the prices on there. You drive 10 kilometers, it's something like 10 or 12 bucks. It's crazy. It's the most expensive toll road in North America. So if you've got Alberta plates in a numbered corporation where you are not the director, the 407 is going to keep billing you every single day when you drive on that highway. But because the 407 is an Ontario-based corporation, they cannot force Alberta to pay the bill. So now you don't pay the bill. Now, you didn't hear that from me, but who cares? The Highway 407 was something that was planned to be built, 100 years, maybe not 100, but like 60 years before they actually built it. And then they had to build it earlier than the initial plan because Toronto grew more quickly than anybody would ever have assumed. Tax dollars went into building that highway, and then it was just sold to a company in Spain. It's private property, yet somehow you can get speeding tickets from the OPP on that highway. Isn't that sick? So I say this, folks, don't pay to drive on that thing. Let me set up your cars in Alberta for you. You can drive that highway for free. Does a husband and wife name themselves president and vice president? No. No one's president. No one's vice president. No one's director. Nobody is CEO. Nobody is CFO. Nobody is COO. Nobody is any of that. You're just shareholders. Hi, I'm Kevin. This is my wife, Ginger. All right. We own 50-50. We have 100 shares. I own 50. She owns 50. That's it. There's no title except shareholder, owner. I don't want to be the president or vice president of anything. I hate titles, by the way, so don't do that. Just be shareholders and be silent. Tell nobody about your ownership structure of your corporation. Let's have a quick look at the YouTube room here. Does the CRA know about the sales of property? If you tell them, yes. Once in a while, they'll do a sweep where they want to see a large swath of houses that were sold. And if they do that, they will automatically send out, our records show that you owe a capital gain. And that's when the legal letter goes out saying, you're fraudsters. There's no capital gain owed. If you pursue this, we're going to charge you with fraud, uttering threats, extortion, intimidation, and so on. And they always go away at that point. The CRA never pushes it. Once we give them those warnings, they actually never push it. Losers. Do you have a capital loss from crypto? All right. Capital gains, capital losses. I'm now going to address the capital loss. That's one of the things I did want to cover tonight. So let's do that now. Capital losses are 100% transferable in Australia and in Canada. 100% transferable. I happen to have about right now $580 million worth of capital losses with all the corporations that I have purchased that I will gladly sell to any of you. So if you know you're about to have a $400,000 capital gain this year, then let me sell you a $600,000 capital loss. I will transfer it to you, completely legal, and that capital loss is going to wipe out your capital gain. And also, this is where we do things the right way. If you, let's say $500,000, let's stick with even numbers here. $500,000 capital gain you're about to have. I'll sell you about a $700,000 capital loss. You're going to not pay any tax at all on the capital gain, and then you're going to be able to take that $200,000 extra capital loss and push it forward every year until you have to use it again. So yeah, I could preemptively sell all of you a capital loss right now that just carries forward every year for the rest of your life. It's absolutely indefinite how long a capital loss can stay on your record. So if any of you out there have capital gains and you've paid capital gains in the last 3 years, there's a limit to this, in the last 3 years, then let me sell you my capital losses and redo your taxes with those capital losses. All right? How much do we charge for capital losses? It's not a menu item price, all right? It's based on the value of your property. It's based on how much work that we're going to have to do, all right? Transferring a capital loss is not like transferring a corporation. I can transfer a corporation in 15, 20 minutes. Capital loss is about 2-3 days, and it's a lot of work. Like we're talking 2-3 days, 12, 13 hours a day, me and a couple of my team. It's not easy to do. That's probably why accountants and CPAs are too gutless to do it. It's a lot of work. So we would get you a price on it. But if I was to tell you between 5 and 6.25%, then I wouldn't be very far off. There you go. Capital gains can be wiped out by the capital losses that I can sell to you. What about pipe fitting in Panama? If you're going to be working with the new construction companies, yeah, there's a lot of new projects going up. What you need to do is, Del Rey, look at an area called Costa del Este. Costa del Este was a garbage dump 15 years ago, and now it's an incredibly rich city. It's a city within the city, and it's full of gringos. A lot of white people there. They got this incredible shopping mall called Town Center, which has a hospital with something ridiculous like 1,400 beds in it. So the hospital is connected directly to the mall. The mall's got this fantastic theater in there, bowling alley, go-kart tracks inside. For those who care, TGI Fridays is there. All you can eat soup and salad at the Olive Garden, that's there. A lot of really cool boutique shops and whatnot. And the condos there they're something else. They really are nice. The bar and the nightlife in that particular area are great. And there's more buildings going up now. So if you are a pipe fitter, you could work with the American, British, Australian, and Spanish and European developers here. Get in now because they're about to put another 10 skyscrapers up. It's growing fast. All right. Yeah, Nomi makes a good point. She says she hates doing free accounting for the government. Yeah, I hate working for free for the government. The government says, yeah, you have to do this thing because we want you to. And I'm telling everyone, I don't have to do anything. If you're not paying me for my time, I don't have to do anything. And I won't do anything that I'm not being paid for. Exception to the rule, if you're someone I really, really, really like, I don't have to help you lift a couch up the stairs, but I might because I like you. Beyond that, nothing else is being done for free. Okay. Oh, yay. Farming fun. Yeah, that's great. If you got a farm, I'm looking forward to working with you. How do you pull out RRSP money? I have to offset your RRSP withdrawal with the losses that I would do on your tax return for the previous year and the year of and the year after. I can and I will get your RRSP taxes down to zero, but you got to pay them first, and then I can get all the tax money back later. I am working on something new. with RSPs. It's going to take another 2 months or so, but come back in the summertime. You'll be happy with it. KK, I have a property in my personal name in Alberta. Can we help put it into a corporation before you sell it? Yep, absolutely I can. Get a hold of me on my website right now. How do I bank? How do I bank? My cards. Yeah, Panama's pretty modern, man. So I've got my cards. Tap, tap, tap. I need cash. Bank machine. I need more cash. Go to the bank, and they'll pull it for me. Yeah, that's what I do. Wise.com. CRA can't track anything there. AirWallex. CRA can't track that. There's a lot of banks out there that the CRA simply cannot track. There's an interesting one in Brazil called Nubank, Nubank, Nubank. You've got to be a part-time resident of the country, but you could lie and you get a Nubank bank account and you get a debit card with it. It's a purple credit card. It's pretty cool. And just tap it everywhere too. I'm with Nubank. Why not? I got bank accounts all over the world now. Because I do not trust the Canadian government at all. And I don't trust the Canadian banks either. They're all scumbags. Time lapse. I have $35,000 in GST and $8,000 in corporate tax. You mean in debt? If you want to sell me the corporation, I can take all your debt, including payroll, from you. Get a hold of me on my website, folks. Use the website. Do not DM me on social media. I do not use social media as a way to contact or to speak to the general public, period. Back War Forged. I made 6 figures. Want to know how much you can knock it down? About half. If it's on T4, about half. If it's not on T4, all the way down to 0. Get a hold of me on my website, please. What's my fee to put a house in a corporation in Alberta? Lawyer's going to be about $1,900, and to register the corporation is going to be about $1,950. So less than $5,000 Canadian. I don't charge US dollars, by the way. For those who are asking, do I charge USD for Canadians and Australians? No. If I'm doing business in Canada, I charge Canadian. If I'm doing business in Panama, I charge US. And if I'm doing business in Australia, I charge AUD. All right. So there we go. Hope that helps. All right. More of your questions here, folks. What about in Arizona? Yeah, Arizona. The IRS is about to be completely deconstructed by Uncle Trump. He's going to tear it apart. So I'm waiting to see what the new tax codes are going to be. When I know what the new tax codes are going to be in the United States, believe me, I'm going to learn them as quickly as I can and help anybody in Arizona or anywhere else for that matter get done what they have to do. But no, I'm not in the States yet. Oh, sorry, that's not true. I am in the USA now. I have 2 corporations in the States, and I do help Americans hide their assets in Wyoming and Delaware-based corporations. But can you put a house into a corporate in Arizona? Yes. I just don't have contacts to do it for you. I would recommend that a Wyoming-based corporation own your Arizona home. I would highly recommend that. All right, F1 Fanatic. Just fill out the GST form on your site. Beautiful. Let's get her done. Do you need a living trust? No. I covered trusts earlier in the show. So watch the replay at freedomreport.ca and you'll catch on to exactly what you need to know about trusts and why they are a good idea and why they are a bad idea and when they are a good idea and when they are not. That's all earlier in the show. How about a capital gain on investments do you need to pay? Not if you keep your mouth shut about them, but I could also sell you a capital loss bigger than your capital gain, and you're going to be just fine. Do I need a lawyer to switch from directors or shareholders? No, you just need to have the corporate key. So when you register or we register a new corporation for you, most provinces email you the corporate key. That's your PIN number. You don't even tell that to me. The only time I'm ever going to ask you for your corporate key is when you sell me the company. I need the corporate key to purchase your corporation from you. But when we register one for you, even I don't know what the corporate key is going to be because it's mailed to you in Alberta and BC, and it's emailed to you everywhere else. I think BC may actually be emailing now. Your corporate key is how you change things. Share that with nobody. Period. Cold McHugh. How is it transferable? It says on all resources I see that it isn't. Well, who are you checking? Who's telling you that capital losses are not transferable? Is it the CRA? Because you know they're full of crap. Everything they say is a lie. The CRA is private. It's a corporation registered in two places, Washington, D.C. and is it Barbados or Bahamas? One or the other. Nodnarb, you have a $1 million capital gain coming this year. Then let me get you a $1.2 million capital loss now. Let's do that now. All right. Don't wait. Get a hold of me now on my website. Thank you. Omar Khan. Oh, calling me a scam man, are you? Well, that's trolling, and you are now blocked. There you go. You know, here's the thing, everybody. For those out there that want to lay the claim to saying Kevin J. Johnston is some kind of scam, first off, I don't use a fake name. The Kevin J. Johnston is my real name. That's number one. Number two, I'm a public figure, for God's sakes. Yeah. If you really want to find me, it's easy to do because this face is everywhere in Canada, number one. Number two, I'm on social media all the time. I'm not peddling get-rich-quick schemes. I'm telling you, you can be rich if you stop paying tax. I'm not selling you anything. And I'm not saying, hey, guys, guess what? Invest in this hot property. I'm not doing that either. I'm offering you a service. I offer a service to the public. And you'll notice how the CRA does not attack me in any way. They don't sue me. Have you seen any lawsuits? Me being sued by the CRA? They don't sue me because I follow the law to the letter of the law. People might think that what I'm doing is a bit crazy because they've never heard of it before. You've never heard of it before because I'm the only one brave enough to do it. I've invented all of my own tax strategy here. I'm not reading some book somewhere and doing what that book says. I'm the one reinventing how taxes are being done. Now, eventually, CPAs, and lawyers will start to do what I'm doing. They will figure out that I was right all along, but it's going to be way too late for them to make as much money as I am in the field because I'm first to it. Now, I've been first to a lot of things, but some things that I was first to, they were too early. Like professional bitch slapping. I'm sure you've seen that, where you literally just stand there and someone slaps you in the face, tries to knock you out, and then you do the same thing to them. I cooked that up 15, 16 years ago. I was too early. The internet wasn't ready for it. So I lost out on that opportunity. I invented rubber covers for your ear on payphones, but I got it to the market a bit too late because payphones were already on their way out in 1990. So I've done a lot of things where I was either a little too late or way too early. So what I'm getting at now, my tax strategies, I'm 15 years early ahead of everybody else in what I'm doing. I cooked all this up, so naturally you've never heard of it. Just how things are. And I'm loving it, by the way. Where's your website, the legitimate one? Bello Toronto, fabulous. Thank you for asking. I have one official TikTok channel. This one you're on right now. Real Kevin J. Johnston. If you're going to talk to me, do not do it through DMs on social media. It is Kevin J. Johnston, JOHNSTON.com. That's where you go. That is legitimate. There's a lot of scammers out there. I am not on Telegram soliciting business, and I am not on Signal. If people say, give me money through Telegram, they're scammers. If they're talking to you directly through DM on social media, they're scammers. It's not me. I do not do that. The only DMs that go out once a month, I have one of my staff, they go, paste to everybody who's leaving a private DM. I only talk on my website. Paste. I will never on TikTok, Instagram, Threads, Twitter, Facebook say, give me money through this platform. It'll never happen. There you go. Are there any banks in Alberta that the CRA cannot track? No, but I know that Bow Valley doesn't cooperate right away. Bow Valley will inform you that the CRA is sniffing around so you can get your money out. But no, there's none that the CRA does not know about because they're chartered, right? All banks are chartered. I just prefer to deal with Ontario or Alberta provincial charters as opposed to federal charters. There you are. Can I do, Ethan's asking, can I do taxes for owner-operator businesses and your wife? Yeah, that is what we do. Absolutely we do. My friend has $22,000 in GST owed to the CRA and he closed his corporation. What can he do now? Okay, that's not how you get away from debt if you were the director. He has to revive the corporation, sell me the corporation, and I put down his director step down in place. Now he can walk away from the debt. I have to become the owner of that corporation. Lane Allen, to register a Wyoming corporation, I don't make money doing it. I just tell people go to Wyoming LLC attorney.com. Do it there. They are cheapest. And for anybody who wants to watch this replay, type in freedomreport.ca. That's going to take you over to my Rumble channel where I've got 23 or 2,400 videos archived. You can watch the replay of the live there. freedomreport.ca. And Fettuccine, you're a troll. How's that sound? Puffy Bubbles. I was just contacted by you. Wasn't really you. Exactly. I don't contact people through social media. So Puffy, block whoever that is immediately. There's about 300, maybe 400 now scam channels where they take me. And if you ever see like what looks like blue screen, like, where my hair is all fuzzy, it's not me. I talk in front of a real set. I got a wall behind me and a couch behind me here, but sometimes I'm on my balcony and I will move around and you can see the background moves. Sometimes I'll talk in front of abandoned buildings for a cool effect. Sometimes I talk in front of the Panama Canal for a cool effect. But if you see my hair looking all fuzzy, that's them trying to strip my image out of the original video and then lie to you about the fact that they're me, and they're not. I will never ask for money in social media. Wealthy peasant, I've invented 3-minute abs. Wow. You mean I can get abs in 3 minutes? Sign me up, dude. All right. Medical corporations, same as regular corporations? Yeah, absolutely. You can designate what your corporation is by industry, but there's no real reason to do so. All right. So Fettuccine, why do you care where I live? I grew up in Canada. I've got property in Canada. I've got corporations in Canada. I got friends in Canada. I left a whole bunch of former lovers in Canada. Does any of that matter to you? There we go. All right. So if I buy today, he'll throw in 2-minute abs. Good salesman. There you go. All right, everyone. So there you go. Capital gains, don't report them. If you have capital gains coming soon or capital gains in the last 3 years, let me know. I will sell you capital losses and get your capital gain completely and totally wiped out forever. This is the Tax and Money Show that runs absolutely every single Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, where we talk about all things tax, all things crypto, all things money, and how it is that you can never pay tax again. Thank you for being here, everybody. I'll see you in a week. I love you all. And good night.